What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we have the complete guide for how to get the brand new Gjallarhorn Exotic Rocket Launcher, an iconic weapon finally entering Destiny 2 with the launch of the 30th anniversary update. And I really do mean complete guide. I originally intended on making two separate videos, a Gjallarhorn guide and a dungeon guide, but the brunt of how to get the Gjallarhorn is doing the new Grasp of Avarice dungeon. So I decided to put it all in this video, every step in getting the Gjallarhorn, including a Grasp of Avarice dungeon guide. So gonna miss out on twice the views, but hopefully you guys find this video helpful and can share it a few times to support me as well. So first things first, you're gonna have to go to Shah Han within the Cosmodrome, and he is going to give you the original quest to start off and get the Gjallarhorn. Then the next step is to load up the brand new dungeon. Now, when you fly in, the first thing you're going to see is the OG loot cave. And as you go towards this, you're going to notice that when you kill enemies inside, they're absolutely spitting out exotic engrams. Unfortunately, no, it doesn't actually give you exotics for collecting these. What you actually are going to see is when you walk over these engrams, you're going to get a debuff, Burdened by Riches. Now, this is going to last for 30 seconds. If you were to stand there for all 30 seconds, by the time it reaches 0, you will die. But if you pick up another engram, the Burden of Riches is going to go back to 30 seconds, and then it's going to say ×2, and it's going to go higher and higher and higher the more exotic engrams, or just engrams in general, you collect. So what you're going to need to do is, as you can see, kill a bunch of enemies within the loot cave. You kind of have to be outside the loot cave, kind of like, when it was in Destiny 1, and farm these enemies to drop a lot of engrams. Go in and collect a bunch, and then you're going to stand near this crystal, this white crystal in the back. As you can see, when you do that, your Burdened by Riches is going to go down stack by stack by stack until eventually it goes away. So after you've killed enough enemies, grabbed enough engrams, and charged this crystal in the back enough, it's going to open up, as you can see, and you can head down into the dungeon. After making your way forward through this crystalline cave, you're going to get to actually quite a bit of a puzzle. All these signs are pointing to this one area that's not open, but on the side you're going to notice two different doors, both with activation panels. But if you go inside, as you can see, you're going to meet your untimely demise, and that's because there is a pressure plate on the floor, as you can see. So what you need to do is jump over this pressure plate and activate another button in the back of the room. We chose the left side door, and then that's going to lock out the right side door, and as you can see, open up the tunnel to which you can progress. From here on out, it's a lot of the same thing, activating different buttons in certain sequences in order to progress your way forward within this dungeon. So next up, you're going to have two trap doors, but underneath it, as you can see, there's a room, and this room actually shows the layout of where you're headed, with the red symbolizing closed passageways, and you're supposed to go and activate more buttons in order to open those up. So after activating this, head forward, and there's another button you can activate. It is going to release a trapdoor and kill whoever activates it, but then you actually want to double back. When you do double back, as you can see, and if you go to that original room, it'll kind of have everything green, and then you can actually jump up, as you can see, and work your way towards more of those large tunnels, but near the top of this arena. Now, there's actually 6 that are all opened up because you did this, and most of them are the wrong way, or they're going to have pressure pads that instantly kill you. The one we found that was the right way was the kind of frontmost to the right. As you can see, that pressure plate doesn't kill you, it actually opens a door above you, and then you can jump out. Then you're going to continue to make your way upwards and forwards, again avoiding those pressure plates, they will kill you, and then you're going to see another button next to a map layout. So this is important, and when you activate this, it's actually going to show you kind of which doors of the arena you're heading to are open and which doors are blocked off. And when I go out into the arena, you can see exactly that. A couple of the doors are opened and a couple are closed. So I head into the open one, and there's more activatable buttons. And then when I activate that, different doors are closed and different doors are opened. So that's how you're going to make your way forward. You head into the nearest area, activate the button in there. That's going to open a new door that you can head out, jump to, a new one that's open, and just kind of slowly make your way forward by continuously doing this. Eventually, once you get to the frontmost door, you're going to activate its button, and then the door is just going to kind of close. But a new one will have opened, and you can jump up, as you can see, to a totally different panel. Now this one, and you can see it doesn't actually open the doors, it's more interested in the two entrances on the either side of this arena. So you're going to activate it the first time, that's going to open the entrance where you originally kind of came through, and you're just going to do the same thing to get back. So you activate that same last paddle before you kind of went upwards to this new area. That's going to reopen your door, and then you just hit the panel again. That's going to open another door. And again, you do the same thing, but you just work your way backwards in the opposite direction. Then when you finally get to the end, you kill a couple enemies, and there's another activatable panel in there. And as you can see, that activates the main entrance to the other side. So you can slowly work your way across, or you can just kind of cheese it and jump with the available open doors like we kind of did. Now once you arrive here, there's going to be two different doors with buttons. The left one kills you apparently, and the right one is the proper way to go. And that's going to bring you through to a new puzzle arena. So in this location, you can actually see this object here. Now this is the first time it's appearing, but this fallen kind of generator is going to make many more appearances in this dungeon. So what you need to do to activate it is acquire a Scorch Cannon. So as you can see, head to another layout map, activate another button. That's going to open up a certain door, and you can see they're actually all labeled. So go in here and you're actually going to find another one of these layout panels with a button. You activate that and it opens up a different door. So you slowly work your way around, like kill the enemies, activate the button, go to the next door, do the same thing, and eventually once you get to the final door, then Fallen are going to come out, including a yellow bar Fallen, and when you kill that guy, he's going to drop a Scorch Cannon. You're going to be doing this a lot. Once you have the Scorch Cannon, go to that original Fallen kind of generated device. As you can see, you actually need to shoot it just right. You need to shoot the Scorch Cannon inside, and as you can see, just a shot doesn't do enough damage. The door closes again. I've got to shoot and hold the shoot button until it's fully charged, and you can see there's 3 different charge levels, and then I let it go and the door opens. Now, a word of caution, when this door opens, don't exactly rush forward. Head to one of the side doorways, because as you can see, it Indiana Joneses you and kills your entire team down this hallway. But after that, move forward. And after squeezing your way through some vents, you're eventually going to find the next area, this arena here, and we have our first boss fight. So there's a giant ogre boss, and he's completely immune. So what you need to do is actually go out and kill the Fallen that are near the front of this arena. As you can see, it's the same Scorch Cannon guys, so you're going to kill them, and as you can see, there's generators, those same generators on either side of the arena. So you're going to take the Scorch Cannon, do the same thing you did before, shoot and hold until it's maxed out, blow it open, and then, as you can see, the doors blow open, and there's Hive in here, but these Hive drop the engrams. So collect as many engrams as you can, and then head to the white crystal, the same kind of one that you used to get into this dungeon that's near the center of the arena, and deposit your loot, essentially. Then do the same thing. Either use the same Scorch Cannon, or if you do get rid of your Scorch Cannon, another Fallen Scorch guy will spawn to shoot the generator on the opposite side of the room. Go in, kill the Hive, grab the engrams, go back to that crystal, and then if you've deposited enough loot into this crystal, it's going to start glowing. The ogre is going to be attracted to it and walk towards it, and then he will be susceptible to damage. And then it's just a normal damage phase. Go to town on this guy. Maybe you can one phase him. If you can't, you just do the same thing all over again. Get the Scorch Cannon, hit the generators, go to either side to get the loot, and charge the crystal. Now, once you defeat this boss and collect your dungeon loot, you're going to continue forward, and then you're going to get to a Sparrow section. So, as you can see right here, once you are available to actually summon your Sparrow, you're going to see there's actually a mine you need to defuse pretty far ahead, and you don't have a lot of time to get there. So this is actually going to be similar to, if any of you guys can remember, the Scourge of the Past raid, where there's actually going to be devices that you can actually see right here, and when you get close enough on or off your Sparrow, you're going to activate these devices, and these are actually going to start to glow from red to green, and they're going to add more time to the mines. So if you're not activating these devices as you're heading forward with your Sparrow, you're probably not going to make it to the mine. So be sure to split your team up. Some people on the right side, some people on the left side, some people taking the jump, some people not, to try to hit these devices and make it in time to these mines. Now, once you defuse all of them one after another, eventually it's going to lead you to this giant skull area right here. And you're simply going to progress forward into the next big encounter of this dungeon. So when you start out in this arena, you're going to see another Scorch Cannon guy, and then you're going to see a Man Cannon, but it's deactivated. However, you can actually rotate it different directions. So what you're going to need to do is rotate it so it's pointing kind of to the left, then use the Scorch Cannon to hit the nearby generator. There's always a big wire that goes from the Man Cannons to the generator, so hit the generator and release it when you're at the Man Cannon. As you can see, it's going to launch you all the way over to the next platform. Now, these are extremely scuffed. Like, it's going to sometimes kill you when you land. Sometimes it's not going to give you enough speed. You're going to have to jump desperately at the end to make it. So just be careful with these. Anyways, once you do jump to the next side, you're going to kill another Scorch Cannon guy if you need to, or you can still use the same Scorch Cannon. Rotate the next cannon and keep going to the left. So you keep heading in that clockwise direction around this arena from one platform to the next, kind of doing the same thing, pointing the Man Cannon, activating it, and going until eventually you get to this platform here. This one is going to have a servitor, as you can see, but this servitor has an immune shield around it. But there's a bunch of enemies around, and you'll notice when you kill these enemies, they drop the loot engrams. So what you need to do is, on this particular platform, you're going to slay out on the enemies. They're kind of infinitely spawning, and then you're going to collect a bunch of the loot and deposit it in the crystal, as you can see, in the middle of this platform. Once the crystal is full, then the immune shield is going to go down on the servitor, allowing you to damage it. Then damage the servitor, and as you can see, once you kill it, it kind of stays around and it becomes the objective. You're going to actually need to physically move the corpse of the servitor to the Man Cannon, as you can see, and then use a Scorch Cannon to activate the Man Cannon, and you shoot the destroyed servitor at the giant fallen structure, and that's going to lower the shield to the next area. And then it's just a matter of going to the different platforms that have the servitors and doing the same thing. So you're actually going to need to, at least in our case, backtrack to the right. And then a new servitor has spawned. A bunch more enemies have spawned there, where previously, we were at that platform, there was nothing there. So you do the same thing, kill enemies, grab loot, charge up the crystal, then kill the servitor, launch the servitor at the main structure, realign the Man Cannon to jump to wherever the next servitor spawn is. And then after you do that enough times, as you can see, every time you throw a servitor at the structure, it destroys one of the little things on the side of it. So once you've destroyed all of the different kind of devices, you're actually going to take the Man Cannon to the center of this arena, where previously there was nothing there. Now you're going to use this last final Man Cannon in the center to shoot upwards in through the area that was previously blocked by the fallen overshield. And then after you get shot up here, you're going to make your way to the final boss arena. So this boss fight is going to incorporate those same mechanics. Firstly, there's going to be a crystal in the very center of the arena. Of course, you're going to need to deposit your loot there, but you may notice that, of course, the boss is immune, but there's actually two more almost like mini bosses near this center arena. So you can actually kill the one kind of invis marauder guy and he's going to drop loot and you can just deposit it in the nearby crystal. There's another mini boss Shank. Don't know exactly what that guy does, but probably want to kill him as well because he does do a lot of damage. And then you're going to, of course, kill those same fallen Scorch Cannon holders, and you can actually find the generator devices on the sides of this arena, as you can see right here. So interestingly enough, when you shoot those, so make sure they're charged as well, because if you shoot them, it doesn't activate them enough. So when you shoot them, charge it and then let it go. There's actually going to be different doors essentially that open up all around the arena, and as you can see, spew out a ton of that loot. So you want to head over to the 3 different locations where that has happened around this arena, collect all of the loot, and head back to the very center and deposit your loot in that crystal. You're likely going to have to do this actually quite a few times. And keep in mind that once you do shoot a generator, let's say on the right side, it's going to lock you out after that loot spawns and prevent you from shooting it again. So you're going to have to go to the left side, shoot that one, and then that's going to lock out, and then the right one's going to open up, so just go back and forth. You have to deposit a lot of loot to this crystal before it finally activates, but once it does, as you can see, the boss is just going to teleport to kind of right in front of you, so you can just DPS him here easily from this crystal. And of course, if you can one-phase him, fantastic. If you can't, you're just going to have to do the same thing over again, but keep in mind those little mini bosses, like the Marauder and the Shank, they are back. They respawn if the boss goes into another phase. So just keep an eye on them and take them down quickly, because you are going to be hanging out near this middle arena depositing your loot and you don't want them shooting you. And that's really about it. So once you kill the boss, you're going to get more loot, and then your quest step is actually going to update. Now it prompts you to go back to the Cosmodrome and visit Shah Han. Once you do, your quest step is going to update yet again. Now you have to collect 7 Wolfpack rounds from defeating Powerful Fallen in the Cosmodrome. Luckily, there was a Glimmer Extraction public event happening right nearby, and all of the different yellow bars count as Powerful Fallen. So as you can see right here, I'm able to get that done pretty darn fast just from all these different yellow bar fallen. We did have a team together, and it seemed like final blows were the only things counting for this. So if you damaged, a powerful fallen and then your teammate killed him, your teammate would get the Wolfpack rounds and you wouldn't. So that is a little unfortunate. But once you're done with that, you're going to head back to Shah Han, talk to him, and then you have to go to Banshee 44 in the tower. Once you talk to him, he just gives you a new quest step, and now you have to complete the Exodus Garden to a Lost Sector, which is in the Cosmodrome. So head down there, basically turn around and go to the Divide. It's located within there. There's nothing special. The enemies aren't even different as far as I was aware. You just need to complete this Lost Sector, and then once you do, there's going to be a chest you can activate, and as you can see, that's going to give you another Gjallarhorn part and update your quest. Then you have to reassemble the Gjallarhorn, which actually involves you going to Shah Han but not talking to him. You just kind of turn around and assemble it in the shed like behind Shah Han, which was a little bit weird. Just like activate something back here. As you can see, that gives you a nearly complete Gjallarhorn. Then you talk to Shah Han and he gives you the outright actual Gjallarhorn that you can equip and start to use in all its glory. And oh boy, I can't wait to test this thing out in a raid environment. Guys, that is it for the video, and I hope you enjoyed, found this informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.